Now, there was a big victory for free speech. The High Court has ruled the Police Federation unlawfully suspended 2 police officers for questioning whether the police are institutionally racist.
Yes, Richard Cook and Rick Pryor were punished for comments made on GB News and social media.
In an interview with us here, Mr Pryor suggested officers were worried about being labelled racist while patrolling areas of London.
There's a striking crisis of confidence at the moment within policing in general, and certainly within the Metropolitan Police, whereby officers are withdrawing from any kind of proactive policing for fear of falling foul of the IOPC, the Independent Office of Police Conduct, or a vexatious or malicious complaint. There seems to be an assumption of racism right from the off, particularly when it's a white police officer and a member of the public from a minority ethnic community.
But the High Court has now ruled that the Police Federation was wrong to suspend both officers for those comments. Our national reporter Charlie Peters joins us. It was an interview with you, of course, Charlie, which triggered this around in the first place.
Yes, I've had a tremendous sense of guilt, really, since October 2024, when Rick Pryor and I had a very frank and clear conversation about the problems facing police officers in London. It came after an incident in Croydon, where an officer was trying to stop a lady do a ticket inspection, and the interaction escalated so much that he was eventually actually tried for assault at a magistrate's court. This was all quashed and thrown out, but he was subject to accusations of racism as well, an IOPC investigation. It really ran on. And so Rick Pryor came to speak to us, knowing that GB News was a place where these concerns could be heard fairly, and told us these problems, and was then suspended in his position as chair of the Met Police Federation, his concerns about officers hesitating due to fears of malicious or vexatious complaints, then suspended also by the Policing Federation of England and Wales. So it went one step further. It led to a lengthy battle, with Rick Pryor being backed by the Free Speech Union, and has led to this victory in the High Court. Article 10 of the ECHR, so his rights to freedom of expression, came through. I'm very happy to say we can now speak to Rick Pryor, who joins us, I think, in Thailand. He's won a legal battle, and he's now relaxing by the beach in Phuket.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade, and in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind the more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver, and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Rick, a very good afternoon, I suppose, to you over there. Thank you very much for joining us. It's victory for you now. Finally, some justice for your honest and frank comments about what police officers were facing in London. How does it feel?
Thank you for having me, Charlie. And I'm not sure if I should be feeling nervous. I haven't got a position to put into jeopardy anymore. But yeah, it all stemmed from that fateful interview back in October 24. And it's been a long, arduous battle. And I think common sense has prevailed. And I think the High Court has come to a very reasoned and sound judgment.
And Rick, in the background, while you were engaged in this battle to stand up for your right to share the concerns of police officers, What have members of the Met told you, serving officers, rank and file, the men and women you previously represented in that role, about what you said, about the fear of vexatious and malicious complaints, about allegations of racism? Have you had a lot of support in private, and do you fear now that those concerns won't be heard?
Yes, I've had lots and lots of support from all of the officers that I was charged to represent. Very humbling support. The crowdfund was a lot of police officers who are struggling who donated towards that fund to so that I was able to take this to the High Court. I'm very grateful to everybody who supported me. And on your second point, I think that's true. I think there's a chilling effect that my suspension and ultimate removal from office and Richard Cook's suspension, removal from office has had on other chairs. And I think that people are going to be very hesitant moving forwards in terms of expressing honest views in the public domain.
Rick, I think it's astonishing that the Police Federation, of all bodies, tried to silence you, because the whole point of the Police Federation, which you were part of, is to represent the views of ordinary police officers about a range of issues, one of which I would have said is how they're frightened to do their job because of racial pressures. Yes,
you were surprised, but I probably should say not as surprised as I was. There was always a red line I had to be very careful of. As a Federation official, as a senior Federation official, I was still a police officer, still am a police officer, and we are all bound by what's called the standards of professional behaviour. So we have to be very careful not to venture past that line and say anything that could be potentially deemed to be misconduct in the police sphere. So I was always very careful about what I said in relation to that. I never thought for a second that my own Staff Support Association, the Police Federation, would come after me. I didn't think it for a second. But the following day, I was suspended by the now discredited, unelected autocrat CEO, Mukund Krishna, who I think his position now is untenable.
Now, Rick, the public expects that the police will police without fear or favour, that if somebody needs to be arrested or searched or questioned, they will do that, regardless of which community that person may or may not be from. Do you have confidence at the moment in the police in Britain that that is how they are approaching policing?
I think there's still a crisis of confidence at the ground level. I think that a lot of work needs to be done in relation to shoring up that confidence to allow officers to deal with certainly proactive matters. There's no suggestion, by the way, that officers are in any kind of dereliction of their main duties. The effect that the crisis of confidence has is that extra step that proactive officers would take. They see something that they think is perhaps suspicious, and they interrupt what they're doing to go and deal with that matter. The crisis of confidence means that they hesitate in doing that, and they take the safe route, which you can't blame them. Most officers have got families, they've got children, they've got mortgages, and without that support, the crisis of confidence is a very real phenomenon, which I hasten to add has been highlighted by the Commissioner himself. At the same time, or just before I was suspended, he made a public speech saying as much.
Well, Rick Pryor, former chairman of the Metropolitan Police Federation, thank you so much for your time this morning. Thanks for your bravery, and enjoy your holiday. It's very well deserved.
Well,
see you, Rick.
Absolutely. Now, we've got a statement from the Police Federation of England and Wales, who say, we consider this judgment to be flawed and will appeal. This case is about process, not about the substance of the complaint or whether we were right or wrong to take action.
We acted following multiple serious complaints about behaviour that was found by an independent panel to fall below the standards set out in our statutory rules.
We were right to act, and it's vital that we continue to stand up for victims and challenge poor behaviour, particularly on matters of race and discrimination. We believe the processes that were carried out were fair and reflected the standards expected of Federation reps. So they're appealing it. Incredible.
Amazing story. Thank you, Charlie Peters, for bringing that.
Well done, Charlie.
Good luck to Rick. And we'll be covering it later on in the programme as well.